Welcome to the Nailed It Wall.
Welcome to episode 25 of the Nailed It Wall. On this week, we're going to share about one of our most epic fails and how this fail is going to make us better educators, friends, and people. Buckle up and enjoy the ride. Welcome to the Nailed It Wall. I'm Mr. Lane, the STEM guy.
And I'm Mrs. Scofield.
Well, partner, as we always start off, we always talk about our nailed it and failed it. And this week, it's going to be hard for us to rally because we're doing our podcast a day late. People are already asking us, where was the pod on Tuesday? It didn't come out. And this one, I don't think I've ever seen you so distraught. So walk us through our ultimate fail this week.
Well, I have to say, I'm not sure what happened, but what I do know is this. We had the most amazing pod recorded to date.
Our first 5-person pod.
Yeah, it was.
And it was flawless.
I mean, I feel like we're telling a big fish story here, but we know this is a real thing, right? And so we got to sit down with our 3 Samsung finalists and 2 lunches in a row, right? 2 days in a row, even bought lunch. Amazing stories recorded on those pods because of the epic fails there. There's multi-layers of fails here, but anyhow, amazing stuff. And then you went to Disney, and so we wanted to put a pin in it and not rush it and do kind of a recap, you and I just kind of reflecting and closing that up. And so you came back after Moxie, and we sat down to finish it up, and the whole thing sounded,
I would say, very Andre the Giant-esque.
Yeah.
Like your intro was pretty great. Every time I hear you say I'm Mrs. Schofield on that decibel level, it brings great joy to my life. I might actually turn it into my ringtone.
it sounded like we had been tranked, right? It's like, it reminded me of a scene in one of my favorite movies, but like everything is in slow motion. It's all really slow and dark, deep voice. And you were like belly laughing, right? You're laughing. You're thinking this is hilarious because at the time, I think we can both agree. Well, no, you thought this would be a quick fix.
I totally did.
100%.
And I was so positive. I'm like, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Give it to Ella. Take it home. I was like, text me in 10 minutes. And mind you, Ella had finals today, which you were working on this last night trying to fix this.
Yeah, no, you didn't say text me in 10 minutes. What you said was only text me good news in 10 minutes. And I left feeling pretty worried about this because before we left, I did a couple searches to kind of troubleshoot to see what I could find, and I was coming up with nothing. There were no searches on this particular topic, and I was thinking this is going to be tough to solve because there's like no pioneers in this, right? So it's just taking shots in the dark. But, Ella, true to her Moxie roots, she had tons of grit. She problem solved tons of different ways to go about this. Ultimately, the poor child, I had to finally say, enough's enough. Like, you really do need to study. And so she was sad. I was devastated. And
Ella truly is our silent partner.
She really is. She really, really is. And, it was really impressive, though. I always think, like, when things don't go right, I'm just amazed when I watch kids problem solve, the things that they do. And the access, like, I did searches to find these things, but Ella knows how to search certain things, right? Like, so there wasn't, like, anybody that searched what we did, but she would find things that might work and all these different, different angles. It was just really impressive. However, ultimately, we finally came up with one thing, and I thought it was a sure fix. And so I had Lincoln help me this morning because he was very dejected about the pod not going out. And so we worked on it in STEM, and I came to you and I thought you were going to be so proud of this amazing job that we did. But I could not hear it in my classroom because it was in the midst of class going on. And I played it for you, and your face was priceless. It was not what I thought it was. I'm thinking golden tones. How would you describe it?
I don't think I can put words to describe it.
Like
It
maybe
was,
like long distance from a third world country.
yeah, it was basically like on like a dial-up internet, basically like
Yes.
those original like Skype messages that you might get. That was totally glitching out there.
That's pretty bad.
And the reason you took it so hard, if me and you recorded a pod, that would be one thing. Me
Right.
and you could recreate that magic like no other. Where to sit down,
Right.
we just drop knowledge, and I have never seen you so low about something not going our way, and you were so crushed just because of the kids
Yeah.
and the stories they shared. It's hard for us to retell it because we might try to recreate that magic and sit down and re-record with them. But you said like Lincoln was like, when's the pod coming out? Like, why didn't it come out? He was just so excited for this, and they had so much fun. And like the things they kind of went back and forth were, them sharing those stories about the time that they had together, working together, and how much they appreciated having those lunches with us and working with us. And these are eighth graders, and something that they appreciated was that time. And something we've always talked about was like how you make kids feel and going that extra mile for these kids. And we went the extra mile, and we came up short.
We really
But
did.
the stories they shared they were just so excited, and they're so fun, and they're just so genuine, and they're talking about their passion, their idea, and how this idea would help the community, which totally bummed you out.
It did. It did. Well, I mean, we learned about beach volleyball. We learned Lincoln's, his retirement plan for a fast food restaurant. Like, there's so many things.
Oh, it was gold that we
It
talked
was
about Lincoln,
gold.
his fail with the octopus. Like,
Yes. I mean,
like,
you cannot. That's the thing. I mean, we know that we can definitely sit down with them again. We can.
it's a
I
must.
Mean, yeah.
If it doesn't get fixed, we
Yeah,
will.
I mean, and we owe it to them. I mean, Lincoln is 100% determined to become discovered, and so he is very much anxious to have this, and rightly so, because he did not disappoint. Right? He was.
They were all great.
Yeah,
that was the thing that like bummed us out because all three of them were so flawless. Like as they went back and forth, and to sit down on a podcast to have five people between Mallory, Wyatt, Lincoln, and all five of us just gelled, and it clicked. It was so awesome.
It was so awesome.
And the fact that it's all I literally sound like Andre the Giant. Like when I laugh, it does sound like Frank the Tank from Old School as I got that
do you
trank in
like
the
how
neck.
I was trying to be grown up by not sharing what movie it was? But yes, that is like one of my all-time favorite parts of that movie too. But that's what it sounds like. It totally does. But you're a dude, so it's weird to hear you. But I am not a dude, and I sound very much like a guy. And you lost it. Like when you heard me and the kids, it was the most hilarious thing. And I'm looking at you laughing, thinking like, I don't think he sees that this is like really bad. And we hadn't really realized at that point. But you know what? It doesn't matter because like, even though I am disappointed, we're both disappointed. Something is going to come of this.
Disappointed is understatement.
Yes,
We're crushed.
We're crushed. But some things will come of it, right? We definitely learned a ton. And we are still learning a lot. And, it'll make us better. It will make us better. But it is a huge loss. The thing is, it's still there. We still have these words. We can hear them. It's just really uncomfortable. And so we'll always have that memory of like what they shared, but they're just so articulate and so, it's so hard to put into words what that was for us, and for them. And it's such a loss. It kind of reminds me of like, if there's like a fire, right? And you have all that leftover stuff, but you're like, I know what this was, and it's like, that's what like, we can do nothing with that. We can do nothing with this recording. So it's just a little maddening, but it's fine.
Yeah. I'm still staying positive. I'm channeling my inner you with
You really
everything
are.
that goes
You
wrong.
really
I'm like,
are.
it's going to be fine. We're going to figure it out. This
are.
one we did not figure out in time. I spent a great number of hours today watching videos, trying to figure things out, airdropping into different Macs, deleting GarageBand. And again, GarageBand is not the easiest program to use.
It's
it when you're not used to it, it's hard, and we're learning. We're 25 episodes in, and we've come so far with everything that we've done, and we're trying to pass on that knowledge to everybody else as well, and iMovie as well. So all these things, we're learning so much, and we're learning from the kids, which is the coolest thing. And you talked about Ella, like teaching you that green screen thing last week. You're like, oh yeah, Ella showed me this, and
You will love
now
that.
do this, and I'm like, I can't wait for you to teach me this thing there.
Yeah, you're going to love that.
But we could not be more bummed about what has transpired the last 2 days. Now, I have a conspiracy theory. My conspiracy theory was we had 4 mics going, and then I came in. I tried to get everything all set up after Moxie.
You did.
And then once I did that, I changed the MIDI settings to 2 mics, and I think something went wrong with that. And I tried to like a Google Doc, you can go through your version history. I'm like, is there a version history? But there's no time machine where you can go back and get these original versions where we did have good audio because we tested it before.
We did.
And it crushed me. That's my conspiracy theory. I can create a conspiracy theory on anything.
But like conspiracy theory usually is like
sabotage.
Yes. And are you trying to say that you sabotaged the pod?
Maybe so. I don't know. But the hard thing was we came in, we were all set up. Like we had this great time to go. You finished Moxie, and I don't think I've ever seen you more excited.
Oh my gosh, it was the best
about
Moxie.
Your day and about everything that happened on your Monday. And we were ready to share these stories, kind of do a recap, and really celebrate how much fun we had with these kids and how they're going to impact other people from sharing their story.
Yeah, that was a huge low. I remember I had quite a day that day. There's a lot of highs and lows, but Moxie was amazing. So to come off of that to then have everything just gone from that pod, it was not what I expected the day to be. Just, you know what? It's all about our attitude, right? Like, you have had such a good attitude. And I will say, when I played it this morning for Wyatt came early this morning, and before school started, because she was doing some hours for me, and I said, I have really bad news for you, and I played it for her, and she started laughing hysterically like you did. And no part of her was like upset or like, how'd you guys let it? Like, there's no blame, there's no like, just nothing. It was just,
I think Lincoln's upset.
Lincoln's so sad, right? I think he knew what we had was so special, and he's kind of like, all right, that's cool. Like, so when are you guys gonna have us in again? He just had fun. Like, it was fun. We had a good time. So, but Wyatt's attitude and your attitude remind me that like there's gonna be things like that, right? There's gonna be things, and it is super disappointing. It's heartbreaking, but like the way you handle it, the way you decide to respond to it. And Wyatt seeing, and I said, I'm glad you're laughing. Mr. Land laughed too. And that's important for her to hear, like, that you're going to not let that. I mean, they actually asked me today, I think I told you, I was telling Lincoln, and he was like, are you going to cry right now? And I was like, all right, I am a little bit upset, but I'm holding it together. But, they need to see, things are disappointing. And you can rally, and it's fine. And it's not the end of the world. Just kind of a bummer.
And then this morning, I saw you just like staring out my window, and I was like, "What's wrong with you, partner?" I'm like, "There's so much good going on," and then I'm like, "Are you just staring into the abyss?" And then you're like,
"Pull yourself together."
I did say that, and then you're like, "No, I'm watching Mr. Foot's egg drop." And,
which was a good thing.
And then so I was like, all right, I was getting worried about you there, so. It's just, there's so many funny stories. We had the whole Panera mishap, and, the parents that were talking to you about the podcast and how much they enjoyed just spending that time. And talk about us, like we talked about this whole time about how much we got out of it, of just working with these kids and hearing their stories. And we're bummed that you're not hearing their stories, and you're hearing this sad story from us right now. So we gotta move on. That's what we do. Right. We always talk about life is 10% of the things that happen to you and 90% how you react. Now, speaking of how you react.
Oh, geez. What'd I do?
You were worried about your sweater. Now you're sitting across from me right now. What are you wearing?
I am wearing the sweater, the winning ugly Christmas sweater from last year. Now, in full disclosure, I only ordered the one that I wanted to pick before you said, you need 2. And so I just went with one because...
They are pricey.
Well, it's pricey. It is that. But honestly, I would tap into my own Christmas. Like, I would have just asked for that for Christmas. But the hard thing is again, as I said, I'm dependent on my sister to edit it, and she just couldn't do much with the other one. It was really, really going to be challenging, and they're trying to move houses, and they've got a lot going on. And so, I felt like this was one that I just needed to accept. It's going to be one this year. And the kids were so amazed by the student. A lot of them know him, and he is a character, and they don't know that he has this skill of, artwork, and it's a Rosalind Franklin. And not only that, but then I had drama practice, and a bunch of the teachers were like, I should probably know who that is, right? And like there, and so I would say, it's Rosalind Franklin. Uh-huh. And she did what? And so like we had conversations, and it was so cool. It was so cool. Just such a highlight of the day.
The sweater did come out amazing.
It did. I love it. I love it.
It looks so cool, and
It's
like
so cool.
I love the fact that you're taking these students' artwork, their ugly sweaters, and you're turning it into a real sweater. The beauty of technology, it's insane. Like
It
back
is.
in the day, we'd have to have our grandmothers like crochet and knit that bad boy.
And it
to,
would be tough, right?
yeah,
To capture Rosalind just so right. Yeah, just right.
Talk about pixel art.
Yeah, it's true though, and it's truly amazing that you can even do this. And like when we started talking about it the first time, and I was thinking like, I wonder if you could. And then I remember looking into it, and then I'm like, you really can do this. Like this is a possibility. And it has been, and they know now that they're going to be part of this history, and like that'll be something. And the effort that went into a majority of the day was pretty mind blowing.
This is like your favorite day.
I love
this. Is like when you
day.
roll out the ugly sweater
I
and
love
like
it.
the science concepts. It's so cool.
It is really cool. And, they put a lot of effort into it. And it's just kind of a cool vibe, right? Because it's right before the holidays, and we put on, I'm obsessed with Frozen 2's soundtrack. And what I'm more obsessed about is like just belting out these songs in whatever key I want, and the kids can do nothing. And it's really enjoyable because it just becomes this really out of tune sing along that I really enjoy. And so every class period, we're just kind of having a good vibe. It's very mellow. It's low key. A lot of the kids are kind of like frazzled. It's a big testing time. And actually, I had a parent come up to me today at the basketball game, and they were saying that their child's struggling with test anxiety, and it's just like you forget it's a tough time of year for them. We're about to go into break, but they're really frazzled. There's a lot on their mind. They're kind of still processing things, and so you want to kind of have those moments to alleviate that and kind of just I guess kind of bring in the joy and the good part of the season, which is like the festivities, and like just enjoying the company of each other and kind of finding some balance. So it's good.
And you do a great job of that. You keep the kids focus on content. Now, what were some of your favorite sweater ideas from today?
Well, I will tell you, I purposely didn't look at a lot of them. They wanted to like have me look at them like as they went. The only ones I know about are the ones that kids wanted to get my feedback on as they were going. And so one of my 3 cadence, and I love this kid. But it's funny, like, I think I talked about it. I don't remember what I was talking about, but where maybe it was Samsung, where kids they are willing to do the work, but they have trouble sometimes generating the idea, and they just want, Genius Hour projects. They just want you to tell them what to do, and then they'll just do it. And so I don't do that. I just say anything you want to talk about, a science concept that we talked about this whole year. And so, get your notebooks out, like revisit what you learn, like kind of just go over that stuff. And it's really unsettling for some of them. So one of them, he's like, well, I really love Bob Ross. Do any of the scientists that we cover have an afro like Bob Ross? This is how the conversation went. And I said, Newton, he had curly hair. I don't know if you can call it now. He's like, no, it's not the vibe I'm going for. And so then we kind of just talked out, but he was like, I really feel strongly that I wanted to have Bob Ross. And so then I said, well, what are some options? Like, what could you do? And so then he came up with like, Bob Ross is part of it, and then he's painting the science concept that this person chose. And I was just so blown away by the creativity of that, and I cannot wait to see what that turns into. And then Lucy really wanted to do the periodic table, and it's a pretty common one. We've just finished learning about it, and so it's fresh in their mind. Plus it can spell words, and there's a lot of different things, so it tends to be a popular one in these designs. But Lucy does not just do anything part way. So the entire sweater is literally shoulder to shoulder, all filled with the periodic table. And then on top of it, she like drew this Christmas tree that's like, it's not silhouetted. It's like this light color. It's the most spectacular thing. And I was blown away by hers. I just happened to see it. And then one of the kids came up to me at the basketball game, one of my other cadence, and he has so much pride in his, and it is pretty awesome. It's hard to explain because it won't mean anything to listeners, but it's been this thing that's been part of things that we've done in our class, and it's something with a SpongeBob, Patrick. It's really confusing. But anyway, he literally spent every spare time he had all day today. So any spare time he had in any other class, my entire class period, all of RTI, and worked on it for a bit afterward. Finally finished. It is amazing. And he said to me at the basketball game, I love that so much. If you don't get that made into a sweater, that's fine, but I will, because I will wear that. And so he is going to basically, if I don't choose his, he's going to make it into a sweater himself, which I'm like, that's a lot of pride in your work.
You're already winning.
I tell you what.
You are already winning with
what.
what you're doing with this sweater contest. And I get so excited for this day for you because I know how much it means to you.
It really does.
I love what you do in the windows there. I can't. It's going to be, already can tell, it's going to be a tough, it's going to be a tough year to choose just one.
No, don't you start that now. It's one. But I did say, wait, what was the, someone said as I was talking today, I was explaining hanging them up. And so one of the girls goes, well, shouldn't we just do them on blank paper? Like, why, if it's hard for your sister to do that, why don't we just do it? And I was like, because they look so cute in the windows. She's like, okay, but if we know this is the problem. And I was like, we're doing the sweaters in the window. So, it was hilarious because they're trying to adult more than me. But I'm like, they look so cool. I love those.
And this goes back to my positivity. They told you January, was it 10th, that the sweater was going to arrive?
Yeah.
And then you were pretty bummed at that moment.
So bummed.
And I was like, it's going to be fine. I'm like, it's going to come quick. And I kept pushing you all this time. I'm like, you got to get this sweater done.
I know
you got to get this done. And I was like, just so passionate about it. I'm like, they got to see sweater 1 and sweater 2. And sweater 2 is definitely by far my favorite just because I really like the green.
I like the green
and
too.
The picture kind of pops on it.
It's so good. And you said, you do this a lot where you'll say, just get it done right away. And I wouldn't say I'm a procrastinator about a lot of things. A lot of times I do stuff, but there's certain things I've dragged my feet on, like a class I have to take and some other things. But this is one of those things that I meant to do it early, but I need this other component. I need the Photoshop part. So that was kind of limiting, but I put it off. I'm telling you, I'm committing right now. I'm not going to wait till December next year. I'm going to get this done.
Well, the good news is we're going to have a podcast to reference this and go back. And
I'm going to be diligent about this. It was stressful.
I can tell all of our listeners right now, I will be pushing you at Thanksgiving and being like, you need to get this done. You need to send this to your sister. You need to have this done. 3 sweaters leading up to this.
We shall see.
I'm excited. Well, that's so awesome. I love it. It's one of my favorite things. Every day, every time I start today, I'm like, how'd the class go? Tell me what was the best idea. And I get so pumped about this. And I was so excited to see you rocking the sweater. It just looks so awesome. So if you follow us on Twitter, check out the pictures on Twitter. You'll be blown away. I can't wait for your Kessler post. And again, if you're teachers out there, you're looking for that filler thing, tie this to a concept. Do an ugly sweater concept. You can get that template off Kessler. It's free. You can make your own. You can tie it to a novel, to anything. That's the best part about this.
Anything.
Celebrate ugly sweaters everywhere.
I agree.
Now, speaking of, it is the holiday season. You had a great group of Moxie girls, and they worked so hard over this dance and drone competition. Did we ever talk about what place you guys came in? I don't think we ever addressed that on the pod.
And do you know what else? I never told the Moxies what place they came in. And one of them, right in the middle of our celebration, asked, and I was like, oh my gosh, are you really going to ask me this right now? And I said, so there were 10 people that registered, right? There were 10 people that registered for the competition.
$450 to enter this competition.
It was not cheap. And then
middle school only.
Yes, and only 5 of them submitted, right? So only 5 of them had something. We were in 5th place. So, however, so again, I am like, these girls are not natural with the way they process things, right? They are and you are channeling positivity like crazy. I tend to be a really positive person. They make us look so negative because the second I said we came in 5th place, they're like, well, now we know what we're looking at. Next year, if we do it, we will crush that. And I was like, the thing is, they totally would. They know exactly what they're doing now. If the app works for us, they really wanted to win it. And I did tell them that we got invited to what was it, Texas? Yeah. And they were just laughing about that. And of course they were like, how could you say no? And I was like, because we're 5th place, you know.
It was like 2 days later. They're
Yeah,
like, so you'd be joining us for the celebration?
It was not in the cards. And so
and we originally thought it was the top 2 teams, right?
You thought that. I thought it was 4.
So the top 4 teams got invited to Texas. Now, as a teacher, like, you got to go through loopholes. So I don't even know how all these schools are getting there, because
I think some people have to be local.
Even for Arizona, you have to, like in our district, Deer Valley, just to travel out of state, you have to go through a board approval. It's crazy.
It is so much
like,
work.
how can you have this spur of the moment thing where they're like, so you joining us in Texas? And you're like, we will not be joining you.
Yeah.
But we still need to, over break, sit down and kind of watch the other videos and the reflection pieces.
Which is hard.
I started watching some, and usually me and you like break down rubrics. Actually, you used to be the rubric person,
because
I
never
wanted
to
to say negative stuff.
I would have to read through the rubrics from FLL and then like give pieces out to you, because it's a lot to process. Rejection is hard, and any kind of negative feedback, it takes practice to have a listening ear for that, right? To be able to take that and use that as a tool. That was hard, especially our first year with your 3rd grade group. You know, like, there was a lot of feedback, a lot of areas of growth. But, you know, it's just, that's always tough. But I think we're getting better and better. For some reason, the drone, I know why. The drone thing was hard for me. I didn't want to look at the stuff because it has nothing to do with what the kids wanted to submit. It's not our entry, right? Mm-hmm. It's not like something that we thought, oh, this is good. So that's why it's difficult for me to like process that, because it's not anything related to us. It's not our caliber. It doesn't reflect us. And so that's the hard part about it.
But again, talking about positivity, how much those girls grew,
I know,
how many of those girls asked for a drone for Christmas, like how they're going to be leading that next generation. And
their confidence with drones.
And how far Moxie has come. You know, this is something that we talked about 4 years ago in our first group of Moxie, of introducing them to drones. Yeah. And 4 years later, you entered a drone competition where you're invited to Texas.
Yeah, which is it's so many things about that, right? And yeah, so that was all really cool, and their attitudes very much. It, like, you know, when we've done FLL, I mean, when we do reflections with the girls, they've said that that's their favorite part, right? But they right after FLL, they would not say like, I can't wait till next year, right? It's like a little bit, they're tired. They're mentally exhausted.
It's a marathon.
Yeah, and what you have said a couple times is this was nice because it was pretty quick. It was a short thing. And with no experience, like those girls had no drone experience. So you are teaching them literally every single thing about drones, how to work this app, how to code drones, everything about
what to do when it goes wrong.
Yes, like that
battery
is a
life,
lot. Yeah, that's a lot.
Charging batteries.
So you're not just trying to teach them the creativity of the
safety.
You're the safety. I mean, we have some dicey, you know, so they learn. We all learned so much from that. And so they're absolutely right in saying like next year would be a dream for them because they have all this foundation and they have the creativity. If they can just get that app to work, they would be a pretty big force to be reckoned with. So I'm pretty excited about that. But they were so cute. So I don't remember if I told you, but at the end of Moxie, so we did a whole bunch of stuff, which I can talk about if you want. But at the end of it, I just said, I just want you to sit down and I want to spend like 10 minutes. And I just want to hear, like, we're about to start a new year. You know, we're coming back in January and we can literally do whatever you want. Like, we can do, you know, do you want me to give you ideas? Do you have ideas? Like, what do you want to do? And so we started talking about it. And like, these are kids, right, that signed up for a STEM computer science club that are excited about like making makeys, and they're excited about merge cubes, and they're excited about I mean, just literally every single thing. These are things that they know of, that they're excited about, that they want to do. And like, it's a dream. Like, it's a dream that this is even a conversation. So you're not trying to talk them into trying these things. They want to like do this. They didn't mention drones. which I won't lie, I was loving it. The hard thing for you and I is we just got what? We just got five brand new ones, and I'm like, but we know we'll put those to good use. But
There's so many cool things that you'd do with those. But I mean, you're talking about like how far we've come in 4 years,
Yeah.
and you talk about Isabella and Sophie's
the Makey
their
thing.
Genius Hour project.
Yes.
I thought that thing was so cool. And
It was so
that
cool.
inspired me to do some more of those projects, like with what they did right there.
Well, and I had forgotten, same here. I had forgotten because, I think that we got through, I wouldn't say we got a makey burnout, but the thing is that was one of the main things that we had, right, access to. And that was a lot of stuff, like, that you could service a lot of kids with one technology. And so we use that a lot, especially in here. You like took it to such a crazy level. And then we got all this other stuff, and it was super cool because then it allowed you to branch out and all that. And I think Makeys, when someone brought it up to us recently, we're kind of like, oh, we haven't even really did that. So for them to pick that and then to do something so cool like that, where it's all teaching all about greenhouse gases. And I just thought, man, I should be using that more often in my science class, like that would be a logical thing, for them to kind of explain things that way. So I definitely want to do that too. But it was really cool to see them.
Yeah, it was awesome. We'll talk about your celebration. You guys had the best end of 2019 for your Moxie girls.
Well, I mean, when we would sit down and plan things out, like you're really good. Like you would say, like from this time to this time, we're gonna do this, and from this time to this time, and you're a pretty spontaneous guy, I think. But like, I'm kind of like, okay, here's all the stuff that maybe I want to do, right? And then I just put it all together. And then I just thought, well, we'll just wing this and we'll see what happens. And it was like, I had a lot going on too, so I just thought, okay, I took the time to prep it, but then I just thought, we'll just see where it goes. Let's see what happens. And I, gave the kids the different, actually I ran the ideas by a couple of kids that day just to say like, hey, if you were in this club, like which of these do you think would be the most fun? And then I kind of went from there. And they lost their minds about every single thing. Number one, I have consistently seen, and it was confirmed for me that day, children are very motivated by food treats. Like candy is their language. They love candy prizes, and they're super, super competitive. I love to see the competitive side of girls, I don't think that that's celebrated nearly enough as it should be. And they get so crazy. But we did, like kind of, what would you say, like minute to win it type of style.
It was definitely a Netflix series, like Minute to Win It.
Yeah, I mean,
I think my favorite one was the candy cane drop on those
it's
like
hard.
strings. Yeah,
I love
never
that you
pulled
tried.
it off.
Yeah, it was really hard.
I was pretty bummed.
Yeah, it was really hard. And so like things that I just thought, I really wanted them to just do things that were a little bit challenging, but that they would have to just like not be worried about how they looked. So like everything I picked, it kind of put them in like these awkward moments, like have you ever tried that cookie one? It's hard. So like to move a cookie from your forehead down into your mouth with just your
Video
face.
of Daisy was the best.
It is hysterical, right? And I'm just laughing so hard. And I've done it before. Like I wouldn't ask them to do anything that I haven't tried. And I know how hard it is. I've realized some of those girls, they must loofah their flesh off because they have unnaturally soft skin. Like there's nothing grippy on their face. It would just slip right off. But it was like they laughed and they laughed and they laughed and that was the whole thing. And they looked ridiculous, right? But they know that they can. Like they're really comfortable with each other. And so there was that one. And then the candy cane thing, it was like the problem solving that they would have to figure out because they all were very cocky at first, right before the first person that tried it, because they were like, that's so easy. And then no one could do it. And then it was like, they just wanted someone to be able to do it. And I think actually Haley was the first one, and then she became kind of a star. But it's a tough challenge. I mean, you said it yourself. You didn't even, you didn't try it as long as the girls did, but it's hard. And then like all the stuff was like, it's just goofy stuff, But
it was awesome. And you did a great job capturing that. And, as all that was happening, it was a great celebration of, what this group has become already. And this group every year, like, as a teacher, as like your clubs, every year the groups are different and they have their own vibe. And you have a special group this year. And you had Ryan Mackenzie popped over after math club. I had to run an errand, had to get my emissions, the STEM mobile past the emissions test. It didn't make a noise when he started up, so I was super pumped about that. And I just poked my head in there, and I didn't want to distract my kids, because once I go in there, they get distracted, and I just let them go. And I went to the other window and I was watching them, and you did such a great job capturing all these moments of the kids. And I don't know if we did a good job describing what went on, but check out the Moxie Girls Instagram page, as well as like your tweets there, to really see. I mean, the video of Daisy in action was the absolute best.
I laughed so hard. And Natalie, who is like so gung-ho, right? Like, she is just one of my little powerhouses in there too. She was so determined, and I'm pretty sure she didn't end up being successful, but man, that girl kept trying. Kept trying. And I loved the grit that this one stinking challenge. And then I felt awful because a couple of my girls are, they can't have gluten. So I'm like, I need to find a good cookie, that would be like universally loved for this challenge. But Oreos are pretty awesome because they just get stuff all over your face, so they look like coal miners afterward. And I really enjoy that. And they just laugh. Like there's no way to describe the amount of happy in that room with the girls, and just watching girls be silly together. It's just like a really cool experience. And I didn't want anything structured. I didn't want any agenda. I didn't want anything structured. I just wanted them to go in and have fun. And actually, I said to them right when they sat down, I said, okay, so the plan for today is we're just going to play games. And Daisy goes, we have an hour and a half. We're going to play games for that long? And I said, yep. And she's like, this is amazing. And you forget, they do not get a lot of chances to just play. Like, they just don't. And so I forget that. And sometimes I think we feel like we have to like plan, and like everything should, we should have everything lined up. But just allowing things, just give them opportunities and just see what they do with it. And it worked out well. So I was grateful. It could have been like crickets, like nobody wants to play, and it just, I actually had to cut out karaoke, and I had to cut out charades, and they would have had no problems with those because they're not shrinking violets. So that's for that'll be the end of the year.
That's awesome. And you talk about the power of Moxie. Yeah. So it goes back to how awesome this is, what this club means to these girls, what it means down the road. Mm-hmm. You talked about Reese and all the things like she missed about going to the school, and just being thankful for these opportunities. And as I peeked my head in there, I was belly laughing almost as much as when I heard your voice on our RoboPod. So that's so awesome. And the whole reason we have this RoboPod is because we recorded the podcast on like a Tuesday, Wednesday of lunch. Mm-hmm. I left on Wednesday night. I didn't get back till Sunday. I did my whole Disney trip. My daughter walked in her second, danced the Magic Parade. Truly amazing all day. I told myself, I was pumping myself up. I was like, because the first time it happened, I was just sitting on the sidewalk, and I just had tears like in my eyes. Just so proud, because like you're so excited for your kids to do these things. And all day I told myself, I'm like, I'm gonna be good. I'm not gonna cry. It's my second rodeo. I'm gonna be fine. And as I saw her smiling and doing her thing out there, I mean, she had her tongue sticking out like she was the Michael Jordan of the dance game. She was just so excited, and I know how hard she works to get to these points and to do these things. And Dance Nation does such a great job getting these girls, ready for life, teamwork, kind of like a lot of things you do for Moxie. And it was just probably the most beautiful thing, and it's the proudest moment that I have as a parent. Just, she's at Disneyland walking in the parade, and that Saturday was the busiest day that it's been at Disney all year, and there's just so many people. But the coolest thing of this moment was we got our seats early. Jacqueline, she's my dog. We do a lot of things during the summer. She's like, we gotta get these seats early. I mean, we had these seats like 2 hours early, but it was a cool day because Mackenzie's doing all this practice all day. So she like loses the whole day at Disney. We don't get her back until 4:30. Like
Oh my
she's
gosh.
there like with the talent crew doing these things. There was like 3 teams from Australia. It was pretty cool. Mackenzie was like talking about all these kids she met from
Wow.
Australia, and so me and Ryan had like a day to ourselves. We were just bombing around from park to park, doing everything. So we just had like it was a great time because sometimes you don't get that one-on-one time with your kids, and when you do, like you just cherish every moment.
Yeah,
Like it
totally.
was the conversations we had, the things we did. It was just so much fun that day. But the coolest thing was so we stake out these seats like 2 hours early, and 2 years ago she walked in this and we had these seats 2 hours early, and then all these people came up like they're like, oh, my child's in the parade, and we're like, yeah, our child is too, that's why we were here 2 hours early getting these seats. And so luckily we didn't have any confrontations this year. Nobody tried coming
What?
sneaking in the seats
A
there.
scandal.
I know these people, and then people were like walking around, like showing up like 10 minutes before the parade, thinking they're going to get a seat. That's an amateur move. That's a rookie move. You don't do that. You got to be prepared. Like my quote says, "Failing to prepare is preparing to fail." So we have these great seats. It's kind of like a cloudy day. The morning was like misty and raining, and my fingers were
Classic
crossed.
SoCal.
Yeah, and I was like, please hold off. So we're sitting there, just kind of staring off into the abyss. Ryan's like just kind of doing his own thing. We still got like 2 hours for the parade. And then my best friend's wife like walks by, and like when you're like looking up into like this thing, you're like, am I seeing this right? And then she like stops and she's like, what are you guys
Are
doing
you
here?
kidding me?
Yeah. So like she like walked by as we were sitting there, and then so like we moved our stroller, and then so like her sister, my buddy Rudy, who you've met at birthday parties, who I used to teach with.
Wait, I'm sorry. You shared some of the coveted
I
spots
did,
that you
I
just
did,
said you
I
can't
did.
just this. She could have been a plant.
I
Do you
know,
realize?
I know.
This could have been an epic trickery.
And so it was just so cool that baby Ryan and Emily and Rudy and
That
Soli
is
and her
crazy.
sister were all sitting there together. And so just this like luck of the thing of like you just like
all the days
yeah, of all
and
the
all the
days
times
and all the times,
And you would
just
could-
a cross paths.
Yeah, I was gonna
and-
say because you could be at Disney together
Yeah.
and never see each other.
and like I mean you could walk by someone and never
Yeah.
see anything, and
Yeah.
we were just kind of sitting there, and so for them to take that in, and then the part that like got to me, like Rudy was sitting behind me, and it was like so great having like an hour to like sit there and talk,
Oh
because
my
like
gosh, that's
when you're
crazy.
at birthday
Okay,
parties.
I've seen you for days. I just
well,
want to
that's
say.
like sometimes I like to leave things for the
Oh my
pod, kind of
gosh,
like when
that
you,
is like
when you
the
don't want to tell me
coolest
things. Yeah,
thing.
it was so cool, and like our kids that they're different ages, but they just like kind of click when they're together. And when we told Mackenzie after, she was just like so blown away. She's like, I couldn't believe it. And even Soli, she's a big Disney person, and she was going back and forth, and she was trying to talk her dance, like because Emily's in a dance company, and they're like, oh, that's way too much work. We'll never do that. And so Soli got to kind of experience that as a new dance mom.
That's so cool.
So then Mackenzie walks by, and then like I'm watching Mackenzie, and then Rudy shouts out. He's like, she's out there killing it. He's like, I'm so proud. She's not even my daughter. And then like I got all choked up in that moment, and they kind of just like hit you, and he was just so excited. He's like, I know her, and
That is the coolest thing.
all the girls did like such a cool thing. And but you talk about that community, and like I don't like to leave the bubble, and there's some SV kids that go to Dance Nation, but there's so many kids that kind of come from all over different schools within Deer Valley and Peoria. And I think we had almost 90 girls walking in this parade. And the coolest thing was when we picked up all of our girls. Like I was taking a video because I knew like that everyone would just start clapping like crazy. Like our girls got like the loudest cheers. They kind of walked out of the tunnel there from all the
Oh, that's
parents.
so
So it was like
cute.
so cool to have that moment. And like I appreciate it, but you want your kids to appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, what a crazy! Why'd you come back?
I know. Well, that's the next thing I'm going to. It's like I'm not a crazy Disney person, and cricket. They have to be thankful for the fact of what people do with these Disney shirts. Every single family had like their custom cricket shirts made, and something that I don't really get, because when I was going into my first year of teaching, like one of the big things, Dr. Chunas, she would often talk about, you can't play Disney movies in your classroom. Disney will like come and sue you.
Yeah.
There was like this huge thing. So I'm confused how Disney allows like their font and their like logos to be so used like in
like
Etsy
you're
shops.
Diming people out, and now Disney's going to come after them.
I'm just saying, like, I just don't get
No, I
like
know. Why is
how
that
they
under
would
the
come
radar?
after teachers,
Yeah.
and and they're cool. I mean, like you get into it, you love the creativity in the shirts.
Yeah.
I didn't buy the Dance Nation Christmas shirt because I told myself I was going to make a shirt.
Sorry, we meant to do that.
Yeah, we you just get so busy.
Yeah.
So I was like, I was going to make my own shirt. I was going to have my own unique style. We were trying to come up with something
Cool
creative
idea,
that everyone would be like, oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
And we dropped the ball there.
Yeah, we're on time.
Yeah, so but I just don't get how Disney allows like
That's
their
kinda
logos
weird.
to be used, but then they like come after teachers for playing
For
movies
movies.
in their classroom.
Yeah, that is weird.
And then I wonder how they're going to control that with Disney Plus, but that's a whole like teacher thing because that was like one of the things that was like hammered into us, being like, you can't play Disney movies without like a copyright express written consent or whatever that is.
Yeah.
But now, what age do you think it's not acceptable to have a stroller for a child?
Dude,
Be honest.
I don't know how to answer this question because I know why you ask it. Honestly, I don't think there's an age thing. I think there's a weight thing. So until a parent doesn't want to push that anymore and they're not impeding my way in traffic, then I am supportive. But if you've got your baby Huey in there and you can't navigate the streets, then you do not belong pushing that stroller. That's what I have to say.
So this is a driving thing, right?
And well, it's
driving
but you're walking, right? Like when I walk at Disney, I have a purpose. Like as laid back as I am, when I get to Disney, I am really good about like getting to places, and I do not want people slowing me down. So if you had your hoopty and you could not navigate that, then I would have a problem with that. As long as you can keep your pace, that's what I'm saying.
All right. Well, I have a third grader and a first grader, and the best thing I did was bring the stroller. I dusted out the stroller.
I can't believe you even have a stroller.
It's still hanging up in my garage. So many times I thought about getting rid of it, and I was like so thankful I didn't get rid of it. I was busting out that stroller. My kids barely walked. They were like such Disney divas. Like we were walking from ride to ride. They're trying to get in the stroller. I was like parking that thing. I was like 10 to 12 hours a day. I mean, my kids, they were troopers. They would go to the park, opening like early access. We had early access on all 3 days, and they would go till 10:30 every night, like nonstop. And I was just pushing this stroller like a madman. Talk about my back hurt. And I told her I came back.
Gosh, I was like,
I was just pushing this stroller like crazy.
But you're kind of a genius, dude, because you can store all your stuff.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
There.
Like
that is like, do you think my kids are too old?
I think that might be pushing it. Talking about like
literally
your
and figuratively. I don't, but I have to tell you, I'm a little bit jealous because one of my least favorite parts about Disney is having all of your stuff. That's when you have some serious issues, is you're carrying all that stuff. But you could squirrel things in your stroller.
Exactly. We had lunch one day in the park. We had our snacks. We had all four hydro flasks in the bottom there.
You're visionary.
Things were buying. Well, that's where I go to my next point. Now, those insurance commercials like where you're becoming your parents. Mm-hmm. Now, would you say you're becoming your parents? Or you've already become your parents?
No.
Or do you try to go the other way?
I don't know what has happened with me, but I would probably say I just don't know. I'm definitely not becoming my parents. That is for sure. My parents are different people.
Okay. So if I look at any like classic like family pictures of me and my sister as kids, there's my dad with his shirt off, like probably jean cut shorts, and he's wearing a fanny pack.
I'm curious. Are we saying that you're going towards this look?
No.
This is fascinating to me.
So my dad always had this like bright neon fanny pack. He even had leather ones. Like he literally like carried everything in this fanny pack.
Continue this conversation if it's going where I'm thinking it's going.
Because I know how you feel about fanny packs. Tell us how you feel about fanny packs.
I am like without a doubt opposed to them. And I just thought it was a given that I was talking about them for females. I never thought we would have a conversation that it was be fanny packs for guys, because that's like absurd. It's like where I stand on overalls for guys. It's just overalls, guys, fanny packs, guys. Those really don't go together. So tell me everything, because now I'm fascinated.
So, I was in a comfy state of mind. I rocked my sweatpants. I was like, it was like kind of cool, but like not
So much
like
for the
warm enough for
process.
shorts. And I didn't want to wear jeans. So I was like, I was just in the Disney mindset. So, and I'm always like worried about my wallet falling out. And then the first day I wore the neck thing. So I had my wallet and the Disney
What's
neck
the neck
thing.
thing? Oh, the
like,
lanyardy
yeah,
type thing?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then my back was killing from that between pushing the stroller with 2 kids and then the neck thing. Like,
Wait, I'm sorry. What is the neck thing holding you on you?
my wallet.
Oh, I'm not thinking of the same thing. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know
like
what
the
you're
little
talking
one,
about.
like the little
okay.
Disney,
No, I didn't
like-
know. I didn't know you could put a wallet in that. I thought you just meant like your
I have
tickets
that,
in
I have
there.
that little thing. You could put just your tickets
Oh,
in there, you
but
know.
so that I could see why that would be heavy.
Yeah, yeah.
I got worried. I'm like, you might want to get that looked at.
So at the end of day one, I'm like hunched over from pushing the stroller for
Yeah, that'd be
12
brutal.
to 14 hours.
And you already went
and then the
pretty
next,
impeded.
Yeah, the next thing. So, and you know me, I'm always losing things out of my pocket, especially when I wear sweatpants. I mean, keys, like I have like my 2 nice cameras I got going between my phone and trying to capture all this Disney magic.
I can't
So-
even. I don't support this. I know where it's going. I don't support it.
So on day 2, I rocked the fanny pack all day.
I rocked is a strong word.
It might have been the best thing I've ever done. I had everything in my fanny pack. I had hand sanitizer, anything I needed in that moment. Chapstick was in there. Everything I needed was in the fanny pack. And
happy for
and
you.
so many people were giving me props. They're like, "You're a trailblazer. I can't believe you're rocking a fanny pack." People were giving me head nods, like when you're driving
What
the
did the
same
people
car.
look like?
There were people that I knew
Mm-hmm.
and strangers. They were impressed by the fanny pack.
Good. They're better people.
And I think I'm going to subscribe to this fanny pack notion that everywhere I go, I might be rocking a fanny pack.
That is good. I support you.
I think you're lying.
Listen, it's your life. You do you, boo. I say like, if that's your calling, you go ahead and fanny pack it. Now I won't be with you in any of those moments because I would not have been. What'd you say? Head bumping you? Like there's no part that's bumping that to say that that's a cool thing. And I'm not sure those are your true friends, but I support you feeling like you're in a safe circle that you can admit this. Is there footage of this? Like, is there
I
pictures?
do have some pictures. I got videos.
I'm not sure if
like,
I feel mixed. I'm not sure. I don't know if I can see them, to be quite honest. But I am really excited for you the funny thing is when I asked you, is that a fanny pack in the picture, when you showed me the fanny pack, at no point did you mention that you might actually wear that fanny pack. You kept that very much on the
Well,
down
I had
low.
no intention to wear the fanny pack until my neck was hurting, and then I was afraid of losing everything on rides, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I'm on Team Fanny Pack. I know you're anti-Team Fanny Pack,
100%.
but
I'm not even like not like an 80-20. It's like 100%.
I think you're going to come around.
No,
I
I
think
won't.
there's going to be footage of you rocking a fanny pack in the
Okay.
next couple of years.
Okay. But you heard that here, guys. I mean, I'm just telling you. If I do, then I owe you a big something. Like, I will owe you big.
I will look forward to it.
Yeah.
Now, my next thing about Disney is my kids have become such divas to the Fast Pass. Now, I was a little bummed. The Fast Pass went up from $10 to $15 a ticket. So it's a big hit a day.
Wait, so was that just last year that you went?
2 years ago.
Okay.
When the Fast Pass was like first rolling out.
Okay,
and-
yeah. Well, I remember when it first rolled out, when we talked, we said, this will go up. Like,
Yeah.
and at 100%, this $15,
Best
this is-
$15.
it's not going to stay $15. I guarantee it will go up.
Yeah, it will, and that's where they get you because the
do.
pictures and talk about a Disney hack. I still have it on here. QR code on your Apple Watch saves so much time. So many people are like, "That's a great idea." So like your Disney QR code that they scan for your pictures, just put it on your Apple Watch for 3 days. The picture people will thank you. You're not fumbling around. I had one friend that actually had the paper ticket. I'm like, "What are you doing with that? You're gonna lose all that." And then so QR code on your Apple Watch.
I wanted to ask you with the pictures, did you have to pay for special ones or were they all included?
They're all included. And you were
Like I
right
told
about the
you, right?
rides.
Yeah,
like
that's
I was
what I
like,
thought. Okay.
I thought you still had to like purchase like the
No,
pictures
that's
from
what
the
I thought.
rides, but you get all the pictures from the rides with the Disney Fast Pass.
Okay, that's good.
It's a life changer. All the family photos and the people that are like having them like take pictures on their phones when you're just getting professional ones. I'm like, what are you doing? But maybe they don't have the Fast Pass.
Yeah,
You know?
probably so.
So yeah, not everyone subscribes to the Fast Pass, but it brings me back to my point of like, you know, technology for good. We talked about the buddy band on our Lost podcast that may never come to light, but the fast pass has created divas, and my mostly my daughter. My son, I would give him the MVP. He was so patient. Like I
him.
wasn't on my phone in lines, like so we kind of like I don't want them like sitting there on the phone in line. So I was like I had my phone in my fanny pack. I had no access to it.
Do you see this
'cause my
face?
fanny
I'm just
pack
letting it go. I'm
was
just
a
not
zip.
even.
But
Just letting it
anyways,
go.
my daughter refused to go on any rides that we did not have a fast pass for. She did not want to wait for anything. She wanted to walk on rides, walk off, and use fast passes for everything. The fast passes are great, but like you're bouncing from side to side of the park. Like I feel like you're missing out on experiences because you're like, oh, I got a fast pass here. Now we had one moment where things almost imploded in a bad way. Ryan,
I'm sorry. When would they implode in a good way?
that's true.
Yeah.
Well played. Well
Yeah.
played. I had a fast pass for like 20 minutes left on the Incredicoaster.
What's that?
That's the new California Screamin'.
Oh, okay.
So, and Ryan, I don't know, I can go on about Ryan, but that guy, he's like a new person. He's usually my timid kid, doesn't like these rides. He had his hands up on the Matterhorn.
Nice.
Like, he wanted to be in the front of everything. He was like, he was an animal. I don't even know who this kid was.
That is
he went on
awesome.
Space Mountain. He's like, that was it? He's like, he was just this animal beast.
That is so much fun.
But bringing me back to my point was I convinced Heather that she has to go on the Incredicoaster because I'm not going to be able to ride this and get off, and because I was going to do a rider switch,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and then do this, and then so she had to come on, and she dragged her feet, and she was so upset about this. She's like, I'm gonna be sick the rest of the day. We get up there, Ryan was like a half a curl too short because he wore his Vans and didn't wear his Adidas.
Don't you hate
And
that?
so he took it like a champ. He rebounded, and Heather was so happy. She sprinted out of there.
Dude, that's so brutal for him, though. Like,
it was.
when you're like that, we had that happen a lot of times with Finley, and it was a bummer.
Yeah, and he's a short first grader, and it broke his heart. But he was a trooper. But my kids, the fast pass, they're addicted. They did not wait in a line longer than 40 minutes.
Well, I do feel like you're right about that, especially since you guys were there for 3 days, right? Disney,
3 days.
3 days. That's a lot of Disney.
lot.
Literally have never done that, but I do think part of the experience is the waiting in line, and you have conversations, and it's just that bonding thing. But Ryan was by himself, and so when you went, like when Z was with you, were you with a big group of people?
Sometimes
Because
we
when
were
you're
just
with
together.
a group of people, that's nice because that's more fun, right?
Yeah.
But that's how that's part of the lines. It kind of reminds me of like our Astro Camp bus trips, right? It's like it's that really long, painful car ride. But it's so fun because nobody ever does that anymore, and you don't just sit and talk and like not have technology. So it's kind of a fun, rite of passage. So maybe next time you can just do like a mix. 3 days though, bro.
Yeah, it was
3
a lot.
days.
It was a lot.
But the good news is you have a fanny pack, and so
Yeah.
you can go anywhere and like for any length of time.
One day that fanny pack might just save your life, and you can issue your public apology at a later date.
Okay.
But it was an amazing experience. We did win our first cars race. We were 0-9 previously.
That's
with
awesome.
one did not finish. One time we raced an
That's
empty
too
car that we actually won, but we didn't call it there. So we are now 3-9. We went on a hot streak. Like we had a whole presentation out there. They're like, you got to move along, got to move along. I was doing interviews. I was pouring milk over Ryan's head. Like I was handing him. What's the cup they won in cars?
I do not remember. That is a good question. What is the cup?
I know this because we were just celebrating it. Anyways,
yeah.
but it was amazing. Those are some Disney hacks there. Bring a stroller, get a fanny pack, and put your QR code on the watch there. Now we talk about
Piston
all of
cup.
the Piston Cup. High five to you.
I knew
Well
it was
played.
in the brain.
Well played. Well, we talk about all the cool things, This is so fun to kind of reflect. This should have been half of our missing podcast. And the cool thing is that Myra asked about where the podcast was today. You told her the story. What did Myra offer to do?
Myra is an amazing human being, and she offered to take our damaged, audio, whatever, in GarageBand to the Apple Store, which I have to say is one of the most amazing offers a person could give you, right? Because it's I don't even want to ask how many days till Christmas. It's not that far away. And so the Apple store right before Christmas, no bueno. But we are, we're here all day, and that's the time that you might have some availability at the Apple store. And she offered to go in and try and help rescue this, to kind of free it like Han Solo from being frozen. I'm really hoping that there is like some kind of Christmas miracle with this thing.
It always makes me worried when no one on Twitter has an answer.
Yeah.
There's nothing on YouTube. There's nothing on the web. But these things happen to us. I'm staying positive. You've come on to the positive team. We're hopeful that this podcast is going to see the day of light, because it was just so awesome to have that time with the kids and hear their stories and just kind of hang out with them.
Yeah. We just can't wait for everybody else to hear from them. I think that's the thing, is like, we know how awesome they are, and we just want to give them that platform to, like, be themselves and to share their stories. They had some great stories.
No, they did. They were great. Now, with the rush of the holidays, people, remember, if you can be anything, be kind. Everybody's in a hurry. Take a little extra time. Slow down. Check your blind spots. Be kind to people. If people are arguing over parking spots, it's not worth it. Now, for the rest of you, keep changing the world. We'll catch you next week. Now, if you loved hearing stories about us debating, going back and forth about, can men really wear fanny packs?
They cannot.
Hit the subscribe button. That's where you're going to get more gold like that. Not just in the liquid form, but in the 24-karat solid form. Now, if you love hearing about our stories, follow us on Twitter. You're going to see Mrs. Scofield's sweater. You're going to see creepy birds. You're going to see the Moxie girls. You're going to see all of our Sierra Verde students.
Hopefully the fanny pack.
You can find me at Mr. Lane the STEM Guy.
And me at a positive proton.